Hello everyone, and welcome back to a bit of a different thing. I've spent some time considering how to add more info and detail to share with you on my builds, where I can share how I was thinking, why I did certain things, and other details that are hard to share. So I thought I'd do some commentary videos on some of my old builds, starting with this one, the cliff platform base. If you like it, please let me know, and I might do more on this for upcoming builds than some of the older ones. So, Aberration Cliff Platform Base was one of the first builds I did specifically with the intention to post to YouTube. I only started doing this last November, so I have not been doing it for that long. I spent a lot of hours in ARK, but mostly on official PvE. But this was one of the first ones. I started building this one as soon as Aberration came out, and it was a problem to understand what I could do with the different dinos and new materials, and how to create the platforms in a way that made sense. The main inspiration was to create a base using the new cliff platforms and see how that could be combined and see what I could come up with. At this point with my videos, I knew I wanted to make it more interesting, more action oriented. The first videos that I did was actually more slow panoramic shots, so I wanted to show more of what you could do in the base, as well as have some action shots included. Tested around with rock drakes and all kinds of things, all kinds of angles to get the opening part of the video, and then in the end I stuck with the glider. When doing shots like this, where you have to get the camera right, it's actually easier to slow the game down. I think I went with slow-mo 0.6 I think, to allow me to get the gliding right. In general, it's easier to do these types of action footage if you slow it down. You can always speed it up in video editing later if you want it to look more natural. A couple of notes about the music. I was looking around on the various royalty-free music sites and I found this one from a guy called Shane Ivers, and it fit nicely with the action-oriented nature I was going for. So I ended up using the song as more of a guide. When the song is intense, the footage is more intense as well. It ended up being a good mix of slow shots and showcases of the base together with more fast-moving shots of me running around or flying or whatnot. I think it came out great. I hope you guys think the same. This build was the first that I used zip lines, as they were brand new obviously, and I spent a lot of time also trying to make the zip lines work well when moving around the base. The layout of this base is really vertical, and the fact that there are no flyers on this map will make this a bit of a challenge. I color coded the various zip lines using purple artifacts that you can see in the video to easily be able to navigate the base. They have changed the way cliff platforms work these days, so you cannot build like this anymore. They restricted the amount of cliff platforms in a certain area, so this is not doable anymore, unfortunately. When starting off, I scouted the Aberration map for decent locations. I wanted to build up in the green area, and I found this great looking pillar pretty close to Fertile Lake, and I thought that it would be great to create a platform base where I could connect several platforms to make a vertical base. It was a bit of a struggle to create a base that made sense, partly because I played this map very little since it was brand new and I was figuring out how to use the dinos and all the new items introduced to the game. The end result kinda works as a base, I guess. It's not the most user-friendly, but you have offloading platform, crafting platform, storage for dinos, bed, valuables, etc. You can walk or zipline to any part of the base on foot. I spent a lot of effort making the base look balanced, for lack of better words. Based on the pillar geometry and how I can make sure the platforms were connected, I tried to make a shape that looks nice and that is not too bloated or tilted or off, so that it has too much on one side. This is also the first recording where I use depth of field, DOF for short. As you can see in the footage, it's blurry in the background and sharp in the foreground. And it helps when you record with the aesthetics a lot. as the closer objects really pop. It makes it look great, I think. This is, or was, I don't know if it's still there, a feature in observer mode in ARK. If you hit the delete key, you got a menu that you can set how much of this you want to use. I haven't used it in a while because since they introduced NVIDIA filters, I've used them instead. They're easier to work with, they run better, have better performance. It's just better in my opinion. But I mean, I guess you can use this if you're not running an NVIDIA card. In this base I use light pets as lights. I do have some electrical features with cables running up the central structure, but I didn't use lighting much, except for artifact lights. As I've played so much PvE on Official, I try to make the creative bases I built for fun still functional. I want to be able to use it as a base if I wanted to. And even more, the more outlandish bases like the submarine or the airship, they still have all the features you need in order to play the game. Some of them are wildly user unfriendly, so think long and hard if you actually want to use some of the concepts for actual base. The theme of this build was wood and stone with some glass parts, based on the cliff platforms themselves and their textures, so it will fit with the rest. I rarely paint my builds. I don't like the way paint in general looks. It kinda kills the texture of the material and makes it look dull. Also, if you have a complex geometric base like this one, it becomes a bit overwhelming if you also introduce a lot of colors. That being said, I'm a fan of mixing materials, wood, stone, glass, or stone, metal, adobe, or whatever. It really helps with making the build look more natural. It's a great way to introduce details without making the build overly complex. In the end, I think it came out great. Not the most easy to use base, but building on a pillar like this, it's hardly surprising. Thank you very much for watching, and if you like this format, let me know and I might make more in the future.